Hi everyone, Sandra here from the Chauvin's Nest. Today I'm excited to be participating in the Look for Less Challenge May 2019, hosted by Yami, the Latina Next Door, and Casey at Coffee with My Sunshine. I'm going to have a link in the description box to both their channels. Please go check them out when you have some time. They do some great DIYs and organizing and all sorts of great things. I'm also going to put the link to the playlist in the description box for all of those people who are participating in this challenge, so you can go ahead and take a look at all of the fantastic things that people are creating. What we needed to do for this challenge was to find a home decor item that was outside of our budget range and recreate it for less.
I found this pair of lanterns on overstock.ca, and for the two of them it was $136. I created mine for less than $8. Here's how I did it.
So these are the supplies that I'm going to use for this DIY. First, I picked up this solar lantern at my Dollarama. It was $4 and it comes with a stake, so it's actually meant to be pushed into the ground or into a flower pot, but I'm going to use this as the top of my lantern. Then from scrap wood, I have this a railing post. I think it's probably about 4 feet in length. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the full length of that. And then I also just have some bits of scrap wood here. This is a fence post cap. I'm not sure if I'll be using that, and just another little piece of scrap wood. And this is a bracket that I had just hanging around the house. It's actually a shelf bracket, but I'm going to use it as the decorative part of the lantern, and then the lantern will end up sitting on top here at the end of it.
The first step was to cut off one of the ends of the railing post because they both have angles on them. So I did this outside with my jigsaw. The next step is to take my sanding block and just soften up the edges of where I cut and just make sure that everything's nice and smooth for when I spray paint. The sanding block that I'm using came from a dollar store. What I'm doing here is starting some screws into the back of the largest block that I have. This is going to be used as a stabilizer for the post. I'll be placing the lantern post inside the pot. I'm just going to drill the screw down far enough so I see the tip of it at the bottom. My apologies for this next part. I actually don't know what happened to the footage, but you can see here that I screwed 4 screws into the post from the bottom up. Now it's time to add the bracket onto the post, and I'm using 2 black screws and my cordless drill, and I'm just going to screw those in. So this is what my project looks like so far with the post and the bracket screwed on. I've got everything assembled, so now it's time to paint. The first thing I'm doing here is just cleaning off the planter because it's in pretty rough shape from being outside for a few years. I'm using Rust-Oleum flat black paint to give this one good coat, and then I'll be using the hammered metal finish, also in black, to give it the look of metal. I've flipped it around and I'm starting to paint the top part, and I'm just going to go around the edges, and on the inside of the pot I'm going to just go down to that first lip because you won't really see too much more of that once I fill up the pot. While the pot dries, I'm going to paint the post and the bracket. The coat of black spray paint is dry, so I'm going to now use this hammered metal finish from Tremclad in the color of black and do a nice coat all over the pot and all over the post and the bracket. This piece of scrap wood I'm going to use as the base of the lantern because I'll be able to use one of the holes of the brackets to actually screw this in. So right now I'm just giving it a good sanding because I do want to paint this black as well. Okay, so I have to apologize again. My husband kept coming into the garage and talking to me, so I got really distracted and missed out on some of the pieces of video. So I do apologize for that. what you see here is the lantern glued onto the piece of black wood, and I used the weld bond glue that you can see on the side of the screen. The weld bond glue is really good for outdoor projects and indoor projects because it glues to all sorts of different materials. Just for good measure, I'm adding some hot glue. Now I'm going to just place the glued lantern on the piece of wood on top of the bracket, and there is a screw hole on the bracket right at the front portion that I'm going to use to just screw the piece of wood on and hold it in place. Before I use the screw into the wood, I'm going to use some hot glue just so the piece of wood will be steady and I won't have to worry about hanging onto it while I work with the screwdriver. Here's the lantern all assembled, and right now it's just sitting in the pot. So my next step is to actually fill the pot and make the lantern more sturdy. The first piece of wood that I screwed the post to is acting as a base for the bottom of the pot. And now I'm going to take some river rocks that I used in a previous project and that I no longer use, and I'm going to pour those into the bottom of the pot to keep the wood base stable.
So this is some dirt that I have just in one of the other pot. I'm just going to fill that in, and then I'm probably going to put some more rocks on top of it. Just to make sure that it's going to be nice and sturdy and it's not going to tip over. These are all the blooms that I'm going to use for this arrangement for right now. I think they're really pretty. They're nice and white, and I've got some foliage leaves here that are kind of going to complement the inside of the flowers. So I'm just going to work on putting those together. Here's where I have the lantern. It's in the corner of my deck, and I've styled it with the flowers and a couple of critters that I have hanging around in the backyard during the summer. This is a side view of the lantern. It's hard to see against the darkness of my fence, but I really love how it turned out. It's exactly what I wanted, and I think it's going to be a great addition to our back deck. It'll give us some light near the door where we go in and out without actually having to turn on the outside light.
I hope you enjoyed my project for this Look for Less challenge. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to click the bell to get notified when I upload new videos. Thanks for watching!